In today's video, Chris Dugan, the president of teacherjobfairs.org, will speak with Kenai Peninsula Borough School District's Director of Professional Development, Christine Ermold. Let's listen in.
Hello, today we're speaking with Dr. Christine Ermold from the Kenai Peninsula Borough School District. She's the Director of Human Resources and Professional Development. And if I can get started, Dr. Ermold, with the question for our network, can you tell us a little bit about your school and as well as about your district, please?
Sure, Chris. Thank you for inviting me to introduce the Kenai Peninsula Borough School District to your viewers today. The Kenai Peninsula Borough School District actually encompasses the entire Kenai Peninsula, and that peninsula is located in south central Alaska. It is a jet of land that is accessible by road from both the contiguous U.S. as well as from Anchorage, which is our state's hub, but it's not our capital. Our local industries in this area include oil and gas. We have a really vibrant medical community, and we have both commercial and sport fisheries. And most visitors come to our area for the first time on a cruise ship or on an airplane. And usually they return with a motorhome so that they can more fully embrace the opportunities that we have available. Geographically, our peninsula is 25,600 square miles. So we're larger than the entire state of West Virginia, but we're known as Alaska's playground because this is the place everyone who lives in our beautiful state wants to come to vacation. When someone thinks about just our school district, they often don't realize that our district has 44 school sites. And those sites range in enrollment from 10 up to 600 students. We daily serve about 8,000 students, and we are the largest employer on the peninsula with over 1,200 employees. Our district is widely recognized as a leader in education in Alaska, and we're really at the forefront of supporting our teachers' instructional practices. Our students regularly perform at or near the top in all of our state assessments. We have high numbers of students who graduate from high school with various professional licenses, even college associate's degrees, along with their high school diploma. And they complete a variety of post-high school preparation that's relevant to their interests and passions. Our faculty in our district really focuses on enhancing student skills in areas like critical thinking and collaboration and communication. And in that, we really do that through a focus in personalized learning that's grounded in our Alaska content standards, as well as personally relevant experiences for our students. I think it's important for people to know that our specific location offers year-round outdoor adventure. We have mild summers, we've got relatively warm winters when compared to interior or northern Alaska, and so our outdoor activities are plentiful throughout the year, everything from fishing in all seasons to hiking and camping and berry picking and wildlife viewing, skiing, biking. We also have a pretty vibrant art and music and native cultural presence. And in that way, the peninsula really offers the best of everything in our state without having to necessarily live in an area that's only accessible by airplane.
Great. Yeah, and I know that many people nowadays are able to see how beautiful and wonderful Alaska is, as you mentioned, through the cruise component of the beauty of seeing Alaska. Can you, with all the great points that you made, is it possible that you can share with our network some of the unique challenges or some of the unique other aspects of teaching at your district?
Absolutely. Living and teaching on the peninsula requires owning a vehicle. Our area doesn't have broad public transportation options, and so for that reason, driving a vehicle up from the lower 48 or purchasing one once someone arrive is a pretty important aspect of the lifestyle here. We do have 4 school locations that are fly-in only, and that means that we drive to a small regional airport and hop on a small plane that takes us over to those areas. And while we provide housing in those communities and we have a district vehicle in those communities, sometimes teachers like to own their own four-wheeler or have kayaks or things of that nature that they can personally own and enjoy while living in those unusually remote areas. We do have a variety of professional development that occurs throughout the year. And so because of that, travel on the road is something that people really need to embrace. It's not unusual for people to carpool for professional development, not only from the sense of camaraderie that it provides, but also when people are new to our state, if they haven't driven in winter conditions before, or if they haven't driven in the dark in the winter, that can sometimes make people nervous. That said, I will tell you that there is nothing more beautiful than driving along the peninsula at night in the winter when the moon is reflecting off of a fresh snowfall. It's a pretty stunningly gorgeous experience.
That sounds idyllic. Well, thank you for sharing that. And I've been fortunate enough to know a bit about your background in our conversations, but for the benefit of our network, could you please share a little bit about yourself and perhaps the great opportunities that not only your district allows one to move up, if you will, in administration, but also the benefits of, the opportunities in Alaska in the education system.
Absolutely. Thanks for asking about that. I'm always happy to share my own story, and it's an interesting one because I am a lifelong Alaskan, but my husband is a transplant from upstate New York. So our family embodies really both ways that people typically come into teaching in the state of Alaska. As a lifelong Alaskan, I am a product of both the public K-12 and university systems in our state. I grew up spending my summers here on the Kenai, and I made it my permanent home almost 20 years ago. Although I had taught in other school districts here in Alaska, I began my experience in our school district as an elementary classroom teacher. I later on became what's called a principal teacher, and that's a job where someone is responsible for teaching, and they are also a licensed school administrator, and they take care of all of the school's administrative business. It's a really great way for people to get their foot in the door in administration and figure out if it's something that they like, and it's something that oftentimes people who have completed their administrative degrees elsewhere seek out some of these opportunities to kind of get their foot in the door. My experience then led me to become a principal at a single site, as well as a regional principal, where I was responsible for 3 different schools and 3 different communities, and so I drove each day between them. After that, I was selected as the district's director of elementary education and K-12 curriculum. And after working there for a few years, I was appointed to serve as our Director of Human Resources and Professional Development. My husband works for the district as well as a special education coordinator. He started out as a teacher in our district and went to school to get his master's while here. In fact, 66% of our teachers in our school district hold higher level degrees. It's something that we really support and nurture for people when they want to grow. But personally, we have a son along with numerous nieces and nephews who are all students in our school district. We have a really deeply rooted commitment to the success of our school district because of that personal buy-in. Although I'll tell you that our family has been greatly enriched by welcoming teachers from outside, some of whom have chosen to make the peninsula their home. Others have simply stayed for 5 years until they were vested in the teacher retirement system, and then they've moved back to wherever they came from or moved on to a different adventure. Right. But in that way, our our children and our family have had the opportunity to get to know people from all over the world. Something that is unique about where we are is because it can be really hard and expensive sometimes to even go down south to what we call the lower 48, the contiguous U.S. Because it can be expensive, we often spend holidays with our Alaska family, people that we've connected with here, and the people that have been hired into our district and who then become really personal friends and parts of our extended family. It's a neat part of living up here that I think has really enriched the experiences of everyone.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that. And as far as, obviously you share the diversity of the size of the different schools with the 44 different school sites that you have, being from, you mentioned, between as little as 10 students to as much as 600. So I'm also understanding that there's a good amount of diversity in Alaska, and I would think that would be a benefit to teaching in your district, that there's diverse communities that are in not only in the state but also in the Kenai area.
That is really accurate, Chris. Our school district offers, we essentially are a microcosm of everything that exists in our state. Our school population is about 11% Alaska Native, but we do have several schools that are located in Alaska Native villages, and that's the primary population they serve. We also have schools that are located in Russian Old Believer communities, and both of those are contrasted with what people usually think of as public school, you know, a grade 9 through 12 public high school with 600 students.
Wow.
And in that way, we do have the benefit of someone who really, I guess, we have the benefit of someone who is interested in Alaska being able to come to our district and have any number of experiences. With that, and with the idea of those real personal and experiential benefits, we also have some more, I guess, concrete benefits as well. Our district start the competitive salaries and benefits for our teachers right now at about $48,000 a year. It's important to know that when people think about the cost of living in Alaska, the Kenai Peninsula actually has the lowest cost of living in our state. We have a variety of housing options that range from being able to rent or have roommates to being able to purchase up to $1 million homes on the Kenai River. So there's a variety of things that people choose to do with that salary in coming here. But our district is also part of the state teacher retirement system. And in that, we contribute on behalf of the employee, and an employee is vested after 5 years. So after 5 years, they can actually draw that, and they can use it to go elsewhere if they decide they're done here in Alaska and ready to move on, or continue to contribute over time. Our district also provides a very comprehensive health insurance plan. We've got two different choices, both a traditional plan as well as a high deductible plan that our employees can choose from. We do provide life insurance. Our employees receive paid leave. We provide both personal leave every year as well as sick leave that is accrued every single month based on service. Our employees who live here and who have come from other states are often especially pleased when they discover that we have no state income tax. And that is often a surprising perk when people come up here and consider how far their income will go.
Right. Absolutely.
It's pretty convenient, yes.
Absolutely. So it sounds like the benefits that you shared are not only professional, but absolutely also personally.
Absolutely. When someone looks at the idea of coming to Alaska and being a part of our district, you know, there's not only those basic needs that have to be met through our salaries and through our benefits, but there's also the basic needs in our lifestyle and in our family. I think I mentioned earlier that many of our teachers have an advanced degree. Our school district professional development program provides opportunities not only for teachers to pursue their own personal professional development interests through a career development grant, but we also district-wide have multiple early release days throughout the year for the purpose of collaboration and professional learning.
Great.
Our educators engage in learning walks where they have the opportunity to visit the classrooms of their colleagues and observe and learn about their practices. We also have district-wide and school-specific professional development plans that every year help guide the continuous growth of the district as a whole, as well as schools as a site. And so thinking about all aspects of a well-rounded and healthy life, we really are able to attend to each of those. And that's a really special thing about living on the peninsula and being part of the Kenai.
Well, this all sounds excellent. So as far as where things are at now, transitioning into the 2018-2019 school year, what are you looking at for your available teaching positions that those in our network or those that are just interested in your district would be able to apply for?
Sure. Right now, Chris, we've got several career and technical education or vocational education positions that are posted. We have a handful of elementary and secondary teaching vacancies to fill, and we do still have a special education vacancy at a high school here in the Central Peninsula, as well as in a middle school here in the Central Penn. We've got a couple part-time music education positions, but it's important to know that vacancies change from day to day as positions are filled, and then sometimes unexpected vacancies occur. So it's important that checking our postings regularly and making sure to kind of keep an eye on those vacancies that are posted is something that interested folks do and make an effort to kind of keep track of. Because in any given typical year, our school district experiences about a 10% turnover rate, so we regularly plan to hire approximately 60 teachers in any given year.
Great. Okay, excellent. So then with those available openings, what would you share, how can you share the best way to apply for these teaching positions?
Our district uses an online application system called AppleTrack, and applications for certificated employment are accepted at any time during the school year, and they remain on file until the end of the school year. Candidates do have to reactivate their applications with us on or around July 1st of each year to remain current. But once someone creates an application, they can modify the application and their supporting documentation at any time. Then, as they watch to see which vacancies they're interested in, they would hit the apply and then the finish and submit button for any of those specific positions that they want to apply for. I'll tell you, Chris, that finish and submit button usually is the tricky one. People hit apply, but they miss the finish and submit. But once our principals then have the chance, they take a look at the pool of candidates, they select who they'd like to interview, and then the principals contact those candidates directly. Maintaining current phone and email contact information is really essential because our principals are often working on a tight time frame once they select that candidate pool to interview. I think one thing for people to know about the process of applying to teach with us is in terms of timing, our most difficult to fill positions are typically posted in February and March. Our other positions are then posted in the months of April, May, and June. We sometimes have a few unexpected openings that will be posted in August. Very, very rarely will we have a vacancy around October or November. Right. But the point is that if someone is thinking about Alaska and thinking about the peninsula, planning ahead to start watching for those vacancies right around February and March, and then knowing that typically by the end of June, you're going to know for sure if you're going to have a position.
Okay, excellent. Great advice. Thank you for that. And lastly, is there anything else that you would like to share about your district?
When I talk with people who are considering coming up here, they often are struck by the lifestyle opportunities that are here year-round. And that's often a really, really big draw. And then sometimes people get a little bit sidetracked thinking about the moving expenses or all of the work, or will I be able to be certified in Alaska? And so two pieces to think about are that to become certified to teach in Alaska, we require both a basic competency test, usually like the Praxis 1, as well as a content area exam, like a Praxis 2. And then the candidate has to have an institutional recommendation for a teaching license. And so if someone is coming from a place where they've got those things in place, or they think they can get them in place, I'd really encourage people to take the leap and to start thinking about what it might be like to come up here for an adventure. Because our retirement system is built in the way that it is now, teachers are vested after 5 years, and the way that is structured is that they can either continue to leave that retirement account alone to mature, or they could withdraw it and take it with them. And in that way, thinking ahead to, hey, do I want to make a 5-year commitment to decide if this is maybe going to be my new home and where I could raise my family, or where I might want to retire to, versus, thinking about the idea of it seems overwhelming and it seems like so much to take on. Sometimes breaking it down into those smaller chunks, thinking about licensure, thinking about a time commitment, and taking it bit by bit makes it seem a little less overwhelming and a little more manageable.
Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing all that. It sounds like, as you discussed, all the professional as well as the personal benefits, as well as basically the outlook of the district, in that not only do you go ahead and encourage and embrace new teachers, but you also make sure that they work through the system and you work along with them. And it sounds like have great mentorships in place so that they can be successful. And that adventure that they would embark on is one that would be successful and that's set up to accomplish great things.
That's certainly our goal. When someone makes the investment to come all the way to Alaska to be a part of the Kenai family, we certainly like to invest in them to help them be wildly successful. Just as important for our teachers as it is for our students.
Excellent. Well, thank you for taking the time to share all this information with us, and again, thank you for your efforts.
Thank you, Chris. I'm glad to share the Kenai with all of your viewers.
Thank you very much.